All right, hope everyone's doing well. Guys, believe it or not, here is another assisted living video. I went through, I've been trying to do better when it comes to video comments, after a video's posted. And if it has maybe, a good amount of comments, I'll go through and maybe respond to as many as I can, at least during the first 48 hours of the video being posted. And I was reading through the comments on my assisted living review from this week, as well as the trailer for next week, with the whole Brown suggesting that Madea be brought in to put Sandra in line. Now, there's no confirmation of Madea showing up, but I will say this. Floyd popped up on House of Pain this week. I never expected that. Well, last week when we saw the preview, that's when we found out he was coming. But before that, I had no idea. But also the fact that the one comment that pointed out, I think somebody said, put Joe on the show. And I actually gave it some thought and came up with a couple of ideas for how it could work. So before going further in the video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button to show you like it. Also, go ahead and hit subscribe. Once again, just thank you all so much for helping me reach 150,000 subscribers. I really do appreciate you. Also, hit the bell icon and turn on all notifications. Don't hit personalize, don't hit none, select all, and then follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. Guys. Here's how I think this would possibly be the best way to write Joe into assisted living. I know a lot of people want Madea on the show because even with the mention of her in the trailer for next week, people are like, add Madea to the cast. I don't think that's the best move, mainly because of the fact that I think when Madea eventually comes back, believe it or not, yesterday when maintenance came through to do their routine checkup on the plumbing and the fire alarm and everything, they know me. A couple of the maintenance people know I do YouTube and eBay because I was literally in the living room surrounded by boxes. I had about 55 boxes that I need to get taped up and put the shipping labels on for, mail pickup today. And they're like, oh, how's the channel going? And, I said, oh, it's doing good. Just busy with editing later tonight. And then one of the people were like, oh, what do you talk about, Tyler Perry? And then that turned into a conversation about Madea. And people were like, oh yeah, I love the family funeral one. And then I saw the farewell play, and my favorite one was the Madea goes to jail. And these were all white people, because I swear I don't think it's controversial, because I really do feel like it's an accurate statement. I feel like there are more people who love Madea who are white than those who love Madea who are black, because I've said time and time again that to me personally, Madea got a bit played out, because the last few movies I went to the theaters to watch, during their debut weekend or whatever, it was mostly white people in the theater. And I was just remember watching the movies, and most of the jokes and everything, they were jokes from like the early Madea Tyler Perry stuff. But that's just me, not to go on that tangent again. I really do think Madea is coming back. I mean, Tyler said so himself, based on the success of the farewell play and the fact that, I don't think they ever announced the numbers from the farewell play once it was placed on BET Plus. But I know that when he was doing the little promotional videos on his social media about the play coming in August 2020 to BET Plus, he was saying, just seeing all those people wrapped around buildings to see it. I don't know, maybe that old bird isn't done just yet. I think bringing back Madea should be done in a big way. To be completely honest, as much as I don't think assisted living is that great of a show, it has gotten better in some areas, but it still suffers from a lot of the same things, between lack of a change of scenery, dragging out of certain scenes and whatnot. I don't think that, oh, sorry, phone updated. I don't think that taking assisted living and then molding it into a Madea show is the best move. I feel like when, not if, but when Madea eventually returns, it needs to be something big. I don't like the idea of bringing Madea back just to save assisted living. I think Madea deserves her own project. Now, again, I don't think it would be a bad idea if she popped up. Here's how I think the Joe thing should work out. What we can do is have Madea show up to handle the Sandra situation. And we know when Madea shows up, she's not instantly going to go talk to Sandra. She's going to come in and, talk about the dumpster that, Cora and Brown are staying in. And of course, you got the whole Vinny plotting whether or not he's the father of, Cora. But let's not even focus on that. What I'm thinking is Madea drops by, puts Sandra in line. And then when she finds out like what this whole building is, well, Madea, me and Cora, we put $40,000 in here to renovate this place. It's going to be a assisted living, like retirement home, for the elderly. The elderly, huh? That's interesting. And then I could imagine Madea just jumping in her car, driving off. Then let's say we fast forward and the renovation is done. Here's the thing that gets me. We are we're knocking on the door of like episode 18, right? And I think that House of Pain and Assisted Living have like 25 episodes, give or take. So we're almost done. The problem is this place has not been renovated at all. The only things that I believe have been done around the house is they fixed the plumbing recently, and Brown cut the weeds down in the backyard and burned it. But other than that, and I think that Jeremy was doing something, and that's when he got covered in poop. But I skipped like 6 episodes. I didn't really care. But most of the show is really focused on the whole Sandra thing, and it's really not that interesting. So I think what they could do is once they get the renovations done, have Madea drop off Joe. And this could be a gag because Madea, let's just say Madea's been trying to get rid of Joe for years, and this is the best way to do it. Oh, an assisted living home. That would be great. I know, what's his name? Hethro from the Family Funeral movie. I know he was a fan favorite, and that was like, one of his first appearances. I don't know if that was his first one. Some people were telling me he was in a play or something. I honestly do not know. I just know that was my first time seeing him in the Family Funeral movie. But I'm saying that we don't need to oversaturate the Tyler Perry character, because the reason I say this is because Tyler Perry's writer, director, producer. So he's said multiple times he is spending more time behind instead of in front of the camera. So for a show, I don't know if he would want to portray multiple characters, because I'm not saying he couldn't given how fast he filmed stuff, but I think that Joe should be enough, because imagine like Joe bringing in some weed of his own and whatnot, and him and Vinny getting high. That I think the dynamic between Joe, Vinny, and Brown would actually be pretty damn good. So I think the perfect way of integrating Joe into the show is have, once the renovation's done, Madea drops him off. And the renovations is like, well, Jeremy, how are they going to take care of that? Just do what they did on the Pains. Yes, I'm using the Pains as a positive example, believe it or not. Remember, you had the first 3 episodes where CJ and Calvin and everyone else were down in Florida for that funeral. And then they left Curtis and Ella. And then like in episode 4, strangely enough, the piece of junk house that Curtis bought along with the laundromat, it was completely renovated. We have no idea how much time passed between when CJ and them went back to Georgia and Curtis and Ella renovated the house. So, it made no difference as soon as like episode 4 rolled around, because they had to get the story moving. I think the same thing could be said about assisted living. Like I said in my, episode review, I don't dislike the actors who portray the teenage children, but I don't think they're necessary to the show. If nothing else, have them go back to Chicago. It doesn't have to be a permanent stay, but a lot of stuff could get done off screen. Like have them go spend a couple weeks with their aunt. Okay, they're in school now, so it's not the summer, but let's just say they go back to Chicago for a bit, and off screen or whatever, they finally renovate the house. The assisted living home. I think we do know it will be renovated by the end of this season, because I do believe in some of the promotional trailers there were a couple of scenes with the place looking nice, not to mention in the opening theme, I do believe it is renovated. So I do think that everything will be good to go by the end of the season. But given the fact that the kids aren't even in every episode, them missing in action for a while wouldn't be a problem. Again, it could easily be written off that they're back in Chicago with their aunt, at least until the assisted living home is ready to go. I'm they pretty much got Wi-Fi now, but once the assisted living home is up and running and they have more to eat than just senior citizen food and stuff like that, I think that would be a great change of pace. And this could happen over the course of like one episode. Or honestly, I was thinking that the show was going to get a mid-season, but I guess they're really just going to air all episodes of House of Pain and Assisted Living until their season ones are done. It would have been cool, like, let's say there was a mid-season finale, the kids went to visit their aunt, then they come back, and then the place is renovated. There you go, boom. But I do think that Madea stopping by, getting a look of the place, getting Sandra in line, the idea clicks of how she can get rid of Joe, and then once the place is renovated, Joe is dropped off, and there you go. I mean, that's easy. That's freaking easy. Now, with that being said, that's really all I have to say for the video. I think Joe would be the perfect addition to the cast. I know a lot of people want Madea, but when you really think about the premise and theme of the show, assisted living, I think Joe and possibly Heathrow could both be great additions to the cast. But that's just my opinion. Given the fact that, Vinny knows Madea and whatnot, by extension, him and Brown probably, hooking up to smoke for a little, I don't know, in the past, or they've run into some trouble themselves. I think it would be a great match. That's just my opinion. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think Joe should be added to the cast of Assisted Living? Would you prefer Madea instead, or would you just want Madea and Joe and Heathrow and everyone else? I just don't think we need to oversaturate it. That's just my personal opinion, because I'm really trying to take into account what Tyler himself said about spending more time behind the camera instead of in front of it. But then again, this is Tyler Perry at Tyler Perry Studios. He can do whatever the heck he wants. If he wants to change it up, by all means. I definitely think that Jeremy and Leah are good characters. Like I said before, I like their chemistry. It's just that for me, some of their weaker scenes, sadly enough, are when they're with their kids. It just does not click at all. I mean, because I feel like it's just written, the prior generation and their inability to relate to the millennials, and it leads to comedic scenes which aren't really that comedic, but that's just my opinion. So with that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And like I said at the beginning, I'd really appreciate it if you liked, subscribed, and turn on your notifications on the channel, and follow me on social media, because the links are on that description box. And a couple of brief announcements before I end the video. First of all, I've already picked the 3 winners for the Madea DVDs. They all contacted me on Instagram and sent me their addresses. I will either have the USPS truck come pick them up today or tomorrow. Like I said yesterday, oh my gosh, over 50 boxes of action figures and whatnot. I'm blessed. I just appreciate God for allowing my eBay store to be good and a alternate source of income outside of YouTube. So I got to get all that stuff on the truck later today. Luckily, the postman also sells on eBay, so he enjoys it. He's like, oh, man, let's do it. It's like working at Santa's workshop, and thankfully, I'm on the first floor, so I fill up my hands with boxes. He does the same, and we take the stuff to the truck. And I got over 200 Pokemon cards I need to get ready for shipping, so that's going to be an ordeal in itself. But I'm going to try to get my sister's videos up today. I know a lot of people want me to do the reviews, but I wanted to knock out the other 3 shows first, bruh. Assisted Living and House of Pain. Like, this video was a spur of the moment because it was such a great idea. I had to jump on it. But the sisters video, I have a lot to say, and I really want to devote time to the video. So the sisters review, the trailer breakdown, it's coming. I even got a video coming. Andy is awful, she literally is. I think the biggest thing about Andy in season 1 was her inability to recognize that the whole Gary thing was toxic and she shouldn't be involved with it. Not just the fact that he's married, but he's a toxic man. But she's been pretty damn awful this season. Like, I'm seeing more and more fans address how they feel about Andy's character, how she treats her friends and whatnot, and how she's, like a villain or something like that. Don't worry. There are 3 big sister videos coming. Once again, it is the review, the trailer breakdown, and then Andy's awful. And maybe after I watch the episode again before doing my review, I might have more videos to add later in the week, but I'm going to try to slow it down because I've noticed the fewer videos that I post, the more views they get, not to mention bruh is off the table. So next week I only have 3 shows to review, and then the following week is Thanksgiving when I'm back to 5 again. But like I said, it's the week of Thanksgiving, Black Friday. Look, that week is going to be crazy. You might not get certain videos until the final week / first week of December, but I don't know. And I got some confirmations on some have and have not cast members who want to do interviews. We haven't finalized the dates because some of them are filming stuff right now and the holidays are coming up. And I'm like, hey, it's okay if we aren't able to link up until after Thanksgiving. That's great. So just so you know, there are a couple of have and have not interviews I am very happy to do and release to you all in the near future, hopefully before the end of 2020. So let's just say I got some confirmations and I could not be more pleased. And let's see. The DVDs, sister videos, interviews. I think that about does it. I mean, I even tweeted Tyler Perry about the whole Joe thing, but we'll have to wait and see. I mean, apparently they did confirm season 2 of Assisted Living is a thing. It's just, of course, filming probably won't even start until 2021. But yeah, that's really all I have to say. Let me know who you think should. Well, do you think Joe should be at it? Like I said, I don't think oversaturation is the thing that needs to be done here. That's just my opinion. I think Joe would add an interesting flavor to the mix. Just send the kids back to their aunt. I literally don't see why they really aren't a necessity to the show. I mean, that's just me. I feel like once the place is renovated, then you add more characters, because if you renovate the assisted living home, but you don't have people living in the assisted living home aside from the people who invested and work in the assisted living home, then what was the point of having the assisted living home? Because at least in Meet the Browns, you had the boarding house, and kind of like on Hey Arnold, the boarding house, it wasn't just Hey Arnold with him and his grandparents. It was Arnold, his grandparents, and then the different characters who lived in the boarding house, and even Arnold and, his classmates. And I think that's something that's missing from Philip and Sandra to make them interesting characters. We really don't see them interacting with characters from their age group. So we can't really get any decent storylines. All we have is, well, we got to live in this crappy boarding house now, or this assisted living home now. We got to go to this new school. We don't know anybody. Sandra doesn't want to obey the rules and not sneak out of the house, and she wants to go out with the bus driver, while Philip apparently likes feet, dances when he listens to his headphones, and hates the way that his grandpa smacks his mouth when he eats. And that's it. I feel like they could either do more with the characters or just write them off. This is my opinion. So with that being said, thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate the love and support on the channel. And if you would like to donate, I'd really appreciate it. I'm not asking for $40,000 like, Vinny and Brown paid over to renovate the assisted living home. But I mean, there are over 150,000 subscribers. So if, everybody watching this video cash apps me $1, I think I'd be pretty damn happy. But all that's to say, if you would like to donate, feel free to hit me up on PayPal and Cash App. It is not necessary, but appreciate it. Or join Patreon for as little as $1 a month. And with that being said, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you all in the next video.